Are you a small business or do you have just a few videos you'd like to publish, but hiring an agency for editing doesn't make sense for you right now? I've put together a simple guide that will help you edit your videos yourself, upload them to YouTube, and start reaching more potential clients. Whether you're an entrepreneur looking for this kind of tutorial or a beginner video editor, I'm sure you'll find tons of value in this video. I've created an easy-to-follow guide that will help you turn your raw footage into a polished business or hobby masterpiece and start gaining thousands of views, subscribers, and most importantly, selling your product or service. Without any further ado, let's get started. Step number 1: organization. After you've recorded a bunch of content on your camera, the first thing you need to do is create a folder for this project. I usually name it after the project and the date I started it. Inside, I recommend setting up a folder structure like this. A-roll. This is your main footage where you are speaking directly to the camera. It's basically your primary video track. B-roll. Secondary footage. For example, if you are talking about a waterfall, this is where you would show the waterfall video to make it more engaging for the viewer. We'll dive deeper in this later. Graphics. A folder for all your images, icons, logos, and any other graphics you'll be adding to the video. Music. A place for the background tracks or music you'll use. And sound effects. This is where you'll store short sound clips, like the sound of that waterfall for your B-roll, or any other effects you'll use for transitions, text, animations, and so on. And you might be thinking this is unnecessary, but trust me, it will save you tons of time later when you're not constantly searching for files. Even if you're working on a short 1-minute video, I recommend building this habit now. It will pay off in the long run. Step 2: project. No matter which software you're using to create your videos, it's crucial to set up your project correctly from the start. The first thing you'll need to do is choose the right format or aspect ratio. Are you making videos for Reels or YouTube Shorts? Then you'll want a vertical format, which is 9:16. On the other hand, if you're planning longer videos for YouTube, you'll most likely go for a horizontal format, 16:9. The second thing you'll want to adjust is the frame rate, which controls how many frames per second your video will have. For typical content, like showcasing a product or speaking to the camera, 25 to 30 frames per second will be smooth enough for the human eye to enjoy. If you want to slow down the footage, like that waterfall we mentioned earlier, you will need a higher frame rate, at least 50 frames per second. That way, when you slow it down to 25, the footage will still look smooth and fluid without any choppiness. Step 3: trimming the fat. This is probably the most crucial step. Once your project is set up correctly, it's time to import all of your footage. Now comes the part where you need to trim the excess, the long pauses, filler words like well, you know, as well as any mistakes or slip-ups in the video. I also recommend cutting out repetitive sections that don't add any new value. And this can sometimes be hard, because after all the time and effort you've spent filming, it's tempting to want to show everything. But trust me, a good editor knows not just which effects to add, but more importantly, what to keep and what to leave out. The goal isn't to make your video as long as possible. In today's fast-paced world, it's actually the opposite. People are busy, easily distracted, and you've got just a few minutes or even seconds to capture their attention. So if you start boring them or showing the same thing they've already seen, they're likely to click away. Step 4: music. Some people add background music at the end, but I recommend doing it at this stage. Not only does background music refresh your video and enhance the viewer's experience, often without them even realizing why, but it's also essential for syncing your cuts to the rhythm or beats. What do I mean by that? If you're using rhythmic music with drums, for example, you can make your cuts match the beat. This makes your video look more polished, and it's often the reason why some videos feel more satisfying to watch without you knowing exactly why. Of course, it doesn't always line up perfectly, so you might need to adjust the timing of your cut, slow down, speed up certain clips. Doing this now, before adding text, effects or titles, makes it a lot easier. A quick note on the music. Be mindful of copyright. You can't use music from famous artists, as you risk getting your account banned, and it's illegal for your business. Fortunately, there are plenty of platforms like Epidemic Sound, Storyblocks, or even YouTube's own extensive library of royalty-free tracks that could be used for monetized content. Also, keep an eye on the volume so it doesn't overpower the video. It's generally recommended to use instrumental background music without vocals, as lyrics can distract viewers when you're speaking on camera. Step 5. Engaging elements. Now it's time to add all the elements that will bring your video to life, highlight key points, and help keep your viewers' attention. This includes the B-roll we talked about earlier, which you can either shoot yourself or source for platforms like Storyblocks, Canva, or even YouTube. You can also add text to emphasize important words, which can pop up in front of you, behind you, or slide in from the left or right. You might want to add captions for certain parts of the video too. Then there are images, icons, animations, and other graphics you can incorporate. So there's a lot of room for creativity here to make your video more engaging. But remember, sometimes less is more. Try to stick to a consistent visual style throughout the video or even across your entire YouTube channel. The days of flashy, overly animated presentations are long gone. The most important thing is always the content itself. These elements are here to enhance it. If the content lacks value, no amount of fancy editing will save it. Step 6. Sound effects. This is the cherry on top. If your video already has B-roll, popping text, transitions between scenes, and then you add sound effects, your video will feel richer and even more engaging. Let's say an image of a nice car pops up. Sure, visually, it complements the moment when I'm talking about the car. But if we add the sound of an engine, it takes the scene to the next level. It brings the video to life in a way that visuals alone can't. 7. Colors. At this point, you could stop. But many times your video still needs some color enhancement, whether that's making certain colors pop or toning others down. Color grading is a huge topic, and we could easily spend hours discussing it. So here's a quick overview. The goal is to make your video look natural. It shouldn't be too bright or too dark. The colors shouldn't be overly warm, with too much yellow, or too cool with too much blue. In short, aim for a balanced, natural look. After that, you can experiment with filters to set the mood or atmosphere. Most editing software these days offers filters inspired by famous movies or styles. But be careful not to go overboard with the color options. Beginners are often excited by all the tools and tend to overdo it with effects and filters. If your video looks natural, where white appears as white, that's usually enough. You won't go wrong with this simplicity. Step number 8. Review. There's nothing more embarrassing than uploading a video, sharing the link across all your social media, and then discovering there's a glaring mistake in it, like a glitch in the export or missing audio. So before you hit that export button, take the time to watch your video from start to finish, focusing on the detail. Ideally, have someone else review it too. I can't tell you how many times I've overlooked obvious mistakes after spending hours editing. If you can, set the video aside for a day or two. When you come back to it, you'll see it from a fresh perspective. Step 9. Export. And we go to the final. Everything is looking good. Your colleagues and friends have reviewed the video and found no mistakes. Now it's time to export it into an acceptable format. This means all your effects will merge into a single file with a familiar extension, usually MP4, MOV, or AVI. For now, I recommend not fiddling too much with the export settings. Keep everything at the standard default. Just make sure to check the resolution. Today you want at least 4K resolution for YouTube, and a frame rate of 30 FPS will suffice. Going higher will only double your file size and make the upload process longer. Step number 10. YouTube parameters. The last but certainly not least step is to set up your title and description correctly. Many people underestimate this, but it's crucial for making sure people can find your amazing work on YouTube. You could have the best video in the world, but if the title is off and there's no description, it's likely that no one will ever discover it and it will fade into obscurity. This is pretty extensive topic known as YouTube SEO, which could easily fill another several-hour-long video. But here are 3 key points to keep in mind. First, title. It needs to be catchy and descriptive to entice viewers to click on your video. Second, description. It should be long enough to give viewers a good idea of what to expect in the video. And third, thumbnail. This is your video's preview image. Don't leave this up to YouTube's automatic generation. Successful channels often have thumbnails created by graphic designers who know what captures viewers' attention, making them stop scrolling and click on your video. If you completed all 10 of these steps, and assuming your video concept is solid, you have a great chance of creating a video that resonates with viewers. If all of this feels a bit overwhelming, or if you don't have enough time to handle it all yourself, feel free to book a one-to-one call with me so we can discuss how to work together. Or you can subscribe and watch my future videos where you'll find not only editing tips but also insights on creating videos, building content that attracts more customers for your business, interviews with my clients, case studies and much more. See you in the next one.